Hello, my name is Miriam Zúñiga, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about lesson planning and how to create a lesson plan. A lesson plan is the core of a lesson. It is the step-by-step guide that the teachers use in order to give the class. There are different factors involved in lesson planning. The first one is the cultural issues. For example, the way the teacher teaches and the way the teacher plans is not the same. Every teacher has a different way of acting. And this relates to their attitudes and their beliefs, which is another factor. For me, this is related to the hidden curriculum. For example, if I have some values that are important to me, I'm going to express that to my students. Maybe my coworker doesn't have those same values, but they have another values that are going to interact with their students and the way they teach. Another factor is the curricular policy that is implemented in a country. In the case of Costa Rica, the map gives us a guide in order to create our lessons or the syllabus. There are 4 different principles for lesson planning. The first one is variety. You have to have different activities, different materials, and different settings in your classroom for the students to be more comfortable or for them not to get bored during the classes. This relates also to flexibility. You have to have a dynamic class, either to be ready to change something in the class or to apply something different, maybe that you didn't plan to do, or there may be an emergency or something you have to assess in the classroom at the moment that you don't plan, and so your lesson has to be flexible. Another principle is the coherence. You have to stick to a content or to a topic and be coherent during your classes. You cannot start with topic A and then go to topic B and then go to topic C in the same class because you may confuse the students. And the fourth principle is balance. You have to balance between different kinds of activities, between teacher talking and the students talking, between individual work, pair group work, in order to have a more variable class and have a more dynamic class. But what is a lesson plan and what is included in the lesson plan? The parts of the lesson plans are linguistics objectives, procedures, evaluation, materials, and time. The language objectives relate basically to what you want to assess and the way you are going to assess it in the classroom. For example, you can have functions, structures, and the content in your language objectives. Sorry. And then you have the procedures, which are divided in 4: the warm-up, the presentation, the practice, and the production. In the warm-up, you tell your student, welcome to the class, you encourage them to have a good lessons, you catch their attention at the beginning of the class. Then you have the presentation. You introduce the topic the students are going to study in the day with different activities by a flashcards or a video or something you want to use in your presentation. Then you move on to the practice. In the practice, the students do exactly that, practice. Practice the topic they are going to study in that unit or the content specific for that unit. And then we have a communicative activity where they have either to speak or read or write or listen something related to the main objective or to the different objectives actually. And then we have production. The production part or the fourth part of this procedure is when the students prove what they have learned and apply what they have learned in different activities. Once you have done all this, we move up to evaluation, where you ask the students what they learned by questioning them or making them do something on the board or giving them a specific activity to perform on according to your objectives. The next part of them are materials of this lesson plan are materials and time. The time will be allocated depending on your class, either a lesson, 2 lessons, or depending on the place you are working on. But the activities will be, but the materials will be related to language learning materials for any of our class. And what are we talking about? Well, all materials that helps you or help actually the students to learn a language. You can have ready-made materials like books or CDs or authentic materials like a newspaper, a TV commercial, music. Relaya actually that is close to their actual context or alternative materials which are help to the students with accommodations in the class. All of this is important because creating a lesson plan, a good lesson plan, will help you to have a dynamic class that the students will enjoy and you will also help you as a teacher because why it is important for a teacher to lesson plan? To have an organization of what we want to do in the classroom. And it's also helpful for our students to know what they are going to learn. So finally, I have a question about this, and it is, which is the difference between authentic materials and reliable materials? Because for me, it's basically pretty similar. So that's my question for you today. Thank you.